So this is a very important message for young people. Anyone under the age of 20 should really be listening to this message, because it's very, very important indeed. And I speak from a great knowledge on this subject and a lot of research. And young people are in great danger because they are being persuaded by the media in very subtle and clever and some secretive ways that they have to prepare for a revolution, which will be a violent revolution. And it's a revolution to get rid of the capitalist Christian white men. Now, this message is coming through in a variety of ways. If you just look at the video for the, the song that's number one in all the countries around the world, or maybe was number one, called Dance Monkey, you know the one, which was by Tones and I, this young lady from Byron Bay. Okay, that's not an accident that one song by some girl from Byron Bay gets to number one in 30 countries. That's not an accident. And so I researched a little bit, and I found that her album is called The Kids Are Coming. And then I watched the video for the song The Kids Are Coming, and it's basically a war rallying cry. It's basically an army of kids, and they say, we're coming to get you. We're going to lock you in the basement. And it's very ominous. I mean, watch the song yourself. It's called The Kids Coming by Tones and I, and it's basically a war rallying cry. And this is just a small part of the whole agenda, because I've seen this for a very long time, that the kids are being persuaded that it's up to them to save the world from the greedy, controlling Christian capitalists who are basically leading us into the apocalypse because of the whole climate agenda, the whole climate situation, and the greed and desire for more and more profit and the love of fossil fuels. Then these Christian capitalist men are going to lead us into the apocalypse. So the young people have been prepared through the media, through some very clever messages in the media, and through games like Fortnite and other games, that a revolution is necessary, and the older ones, the older generation, especially the older white men, are going to have to be exterminated. And this might sound extreme, but trust me, I know what I'm talking about. I've done my research, and the kids who are watching this will know exactly what I'm talking about. They've been prepared through films, like the film Suicide Squad, where all these evil villains got let out of prison to get rid of the really bad guys. And in that film, near the end, you see one of the characters, Harley Quinn, smashed a window of a shop, and in the shop window were lots of clothes which said "Civis pacem para bellum" on all of them. So it's like a message in the film. People call it Easter eggs. There's like an Easter egg, a little bit of hidden information. Civis pacem para bellum, which means if you want peace, prepare for war. So a lot of people, especially young people, will know what I'm talking about. If you want peace, prepare for war. So the kids are being prepared for war. And what's interesting is in this Tones and I video called The Kids Are Coming, the kids are all wearing clothes just like the clothes that were in the shop window in the Suicide Squad. The clothes which had written all over them "Civis pacem para bellum." Well, in the Tones and I video for The Kids Are Coming, all the clothes have got similar writing on it, but it says "The kids are coming." The kids are coming. And it's a very, very ominous and kind of dark sounding song, it's very much like a war rallying song. And I'm here not to warn the adults, I'm here to warn the children and to warn the young people that I know the messages that are being put out to you. I know the agenda. I know that you're being prepared to do some brutal things and to form an army in the name of saving the earth and getting rid of the white Christian men. I know the women are being targeted through radical feminism, through this, to be encouraged to hate men and to see the world as better off without white Christian men. I know this because I've been researching it in great depth, and I observe the things I see very, very carefully, and I know there's an agenda. Much like the agenda in Rwanda in 1994, where the extremist Hutu government persuaded all the Hutu population that the Tutsi people were a threat to their country and to their safety, and they persuaded the entire Hutu population to attack their Tutsi neighbours with machetes and blunt objects, and very, very brutal, very, very brutal. Now the young children in society today, believe it or not, are getting the same messages as were put out in Rwanda. They're being told that the world will be better off, much better off. In fact, the world will be saved by getting rid of the Christian, white, capitalist men. Same thing happened in Nazi Germany. Hitler spent a long time persuading young people that Germany would be better off without the Jews, that the country would thrive, that the country would be happier, that everything would be much better if they could just get rid of the Jews. Now the same thing is happening. It's really, really important you understand this, that of course the Christian white men, the men in power, the capitalists have been painted in a very, very bad light, being painted as the enemy, painted as kind of undeserving of life on the planet, seeing as they are just destroying it with their love of fossil fuels. Or so young people are being told. But it's the same message that Hitler was putting out. That if you just get rid of this element of society, then society will flourish. Society will have peace on earth, will have a paradise, if you just get rid of this one demographic. And that's what Hitler told people in Nazi Germany. Get rid of the Jews and everything will be fine. They don't deserve to live. People don't fall for this. This is a really, really serious agenda. Young people are being targeted very, very heavily with this message that soon it's going to be time for the revolution. Just like in Rwanda, I can't remember the date, but there was one day in Rwanda where it was announced for the genocide to begin. The roads were closed, people were encouraged to get their weapons out and go and kill as many Tutsis as they could. Now this is very similar to the messages, to the plan that's being orchestrated here in the West, in America, in Europe, in many countries. The kids are told that it's coming their time to rise up and get rid of the oppressors, get rid of the ones who want to lead them into this dystopian apocalypse worldview, which they've been persuaded, young people have been persuaded that this is the future by so much TV and movies. It's unbelievable how much this message, including The Handmaid's Tale, have been persuaded that the Christian white men are going to lead them into this dystopian apocalypse scenario. And it's propaganda. These are lies because they want you to get rid of the Christians. This is a satanic agenda. Satan is creating an army of people who hate God, who hate Christians, and who hate purity. And he's creating an army of people who think it's good to be bad, who embrace badness and darkness and sin, and who want to get rid of the Christians because they hate the Christians, because they stand for everything that they oppose. So people, especially young people, please see that you're being deceived by a very, very dark agenda. Please go and read about what happened in the Rwandan genocide, how the Hutus were persuaded by their extremist government that the Tutsis were a threat and they had to be exterminated. Nearly 1 million people, 1 million Tutsis and moderate Hutus were slaughtered in the most brutal ways you can imagine. You are being encouraged to do the same, to kill the people you are being told are the enemy, the white Christian men in power, the capitalists. Please know that anger and destruction cannot solve any problem. They can only make things infinitely worse. Look at Germany. Look at what Hitler did. Look at the tragedy and the loss and the grief and the devastation. It was horrific. Nothing good came of that at all. And nothing good can come from getting rid of any element of society, even if you've been persuaded, and you are being persuaded, that they are going to take the planet into the apocalypse. This is a lie, this is propaganda. The agenda is for you to get rid of the white Christian men, so Satan can have the world he wants, a world of brutality, a world of carnal indulgence, with no morals, kind of like an indulgent pervert's paradise, where all the satanic desires can be enacted out in the open and not have to be hidden like they do now. Because we have a Christian society to a large degree, and we have morals, and we have this idea of what is good and what is not good. And that's why Satan and Satanists have to hide in the shadows, because our system doesn't allow them to do their practices and to engage in their practices out in the open. But that's what they want. They want to have a world where Satanism is enjoyed by everybody. The indulgences, the carnal indulgences of the flesh, some of which are very, very brutal, very unpleasant. That's the world that Satan wants. God wants a world of purity, of love, of joy, of peace. And you won't get there by destroying or hurting other people. Please let this message go deep and understand there is a big manipulation happening to young people. Young people are being targeted with an extremely deceptive lie. So don't get involved, young people. Don't fall for it. Don't think that you can solve the world's problems, which are being painted to you a lot worse than they are. This planet is not on the verge of apocalypse. This is a socialist, atheist, feminist, radical feminist agenda to get rid of men, because radical feminism is anti-male. A lady called Valerie Solanas wrote a book called The Scum Manifesto in 1967, which essentially called for male genocide. She didn't hold anything back in that book. She told everyone how much she hated men. She made it clear how pathetic and useless she thought they were and what they deserved. In her eyes, it was death. So there's a radical feminist agenda which is tying in now with this anti-capitalist agenda and this anti-Christian agenda. All these three things are tying in and targeting the young people, especially young women who are being told they have to lead this revolution. I know what I'm talking about. Please be careful. Do not fall for this very, very dark and evil agenda, which will only have devastating, dark and evil consequences, just like the Holocaust in Germany and just like the Rwandan genocide. Okay, please do your research. Look at some of my other videos to see how young people are being encouraged to want to get rid of men or want to kill Christians. And it sounds extreme, but I share a lot of evidence for this this perspective. So I think you should do your own research. And God bless you.